Alright, so today we're going to be doing a little bit different version of what we did last night. Last night we worked on some Grixis creativity. The deck felt fine. This we're back to the OG original creativity list. You know, there's been quite a few versions that have come out. The Grixis list we played last night with Archons, the 4-color Titan version that Cedric Phillips worked on. You know, there was the version that Wafotapa, I believe, won the challenge with, had like one Velomachus, one Emrakul in the main. So today, I'm going to do a little bit of iterating on kind of the old school original version with Velomachus Lorehold and the 8 Time Walk effects. You know, iterating on some of the finer details like 23, 24 lands, you know, how many copies of Hard Evidence, how many copies of Bold, how many copies of Prismatic Ending. Not playing any counterspells in the main because, frankly, the counterspells are quite poor in a lot of matchups because it's more about playing the board. Even in the like Murtide lists and such with Darcy and Ragavan stuff, it's more important to answer their threats than necessarily to fight through their counterspells. You know, and then beyond that, we are a Renin 6 Teferi Time Raveler deck. We have 4 copies of Prismari Command, for those of you that aren't aware what the combo actually is. Dominable Creativity, targeting a Crab token, a Dwarf, a Clue token, a Treasure token. You only have 2 actual creatures in your deck, which are Velomachus Loreholds. You flip a Velomachus, you try to go to a combat and attack, and your goal is to hit a Savor the Moment or Time Warp, take another turn, cast another one, take another turn, cast another one, take a turn, kill your opponent. Velomachus obviously a little bit more vulnerable than it used to be, with Unholy Heat and a bunch of other stuff. You know, so a lot of late lists have been playing like an Emrakul or just completely foregoing Velomachus for other more value-based targets, whether it be an Emrakul and a Sarah's Ascendant, or whether it be Primeval Titan, or as we played last night, Archon. This is more of an all-in try-to-win version versus the Velomachus version, or versus kind of the more value-oriented plans. Sideboard, got some Flusterstorms and some Mystical Disputes for any type of blue nonsense we're up against, as well as any type of potential combo decks. 2 copies of Timely Reinforcements for any type of aggressive version decks that we're up against to supplement our Lightning Bolts and Prismari Commands and Prismatic Endings. We have Nahiri and Emrakul for kind of the grindier, removal-heavy decks that can kill Velomachus on the spot. And trying something a little bit different here, I personally hate losing to Hammer Time all the time. So we're trying 2 copies of Wear Terror, which is pretty good in a lot of spots, and then 2 copies of Shatterstorm, which is specifically trying against Hammer Time. We'll see if it's actually good or not. So maybe I'm skewing a little bit too much towards a deck that I hate losing to, but I kind of get tired of losing to Velomachus. Tired of losing to that particular deck. So we shall see what happens. play, which is a good place to be. His hand, however, is like just unkeepable. 4-time walk effects, 1 land. This hand's much better. We get to put back Velomachus. I'm gonna look into 5, so we might be up against Tron or Dredge would be my immediate guess. This isn't exactly the best hand against those decks, but it is what it is. Do need to kind of find the combo. Okay. So looks like instead we are up against Yawg combo. With our opponent so low on resources, I'm just going to go ahead and kill their dork. Sure. We just get to do ourselves a ton of damage with our lands. Feels good. Bounce the Yawgmoth. Pass the turn. Try to hamper our opponents. On their cards in the hands, the Yawgmoth. Strangleroot Geist, sure. Yawgmoth, sure. The question becomes, what are we doing with our turn exactly? So I could fetch Cycle Triumph, get it back. Alternatively, I could downtick on Geist, bolt it, and still hold up Cycle here, which I think I'm fine doing. Again, especially with our opponent so low on resources, I just don't want them to be able to cord for anything meaningful. I don't want them to be able to really do a lot of things meaningful, honest. Okay, not the best of draws, not the worst of draws, I suppose. Opponent's clearly planning on courting for something, would be my guess. I think we go ahead and time warp. Ticked up both of those. Actually, no, our opponent can't court for anything. I'm a moron. Teferi keeps that from happening. What's up, Jan? How you doing? Yeah, I've been playing. Question is, what do we do here? We pass the turn here. Opponent's sending us a message. It's a little bit scary. Alright, that should be game, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Go and plus. There's 1. So even if we miss. We are, unfortunately, but we're also fine to I think we just create a treasure and loot. Does lock our ability to play a spell next turn. Or your liege deck. Interesting. Alright, well, now we have to make some choices. Alright, so we could easily die if they have access to whatchamacallit. So alright, creates a treasure. Alright, pass turn, hope we don't die. Game's over. Cast Time Warp. I may not realize that the game's over, but the game's over. Just take as many turns as we bloody want. Okay. I don't think our opponents quite realize that they're dead yet, but whatever. Alright, and our opponent concedes, realizing that they're just dead to our combo. So, what is our opponent on? Our opponent is on Yawgmoth combo. Yawgmoth, Thrin, Physician. Is this more of a combo race, or is this more of a... I don't have a ton of ways to kill my stuff. Timely Reinforcements is okay in some matchups. Nahiri might be okay in some matchups. Emrakul's debatable. Go like this, maybe. What's up, Wesley? How you doing? Denick. Pious Apparition. That could be an interesting one. I don't know what the rest of your deck does, though, so I can't really... Same seems fine. It does get to operate on 7, though, unfortunately, so... Well, I guess we're just fetching and playing Hard Evidence. Nice. Curious what they name here. Ren and 6. Opponent clearly doesn't want to lose to Renin 6. Alright, I'm guessing they'll take creativity here. Thistledown. Is that the... I'm getting a guess that's the liege for that particular color combination. Alright, let's see what they got here. It's going to pass. No reason to make any game actions right now. So I can just chord for 1? Sure. Gonna presume they're setting up for Yawg here. Sure. I think you should be able to link it in chat. Alright, 2 damage to Grist. And then destroy target artifact. Gotcha. Sure. All of Roots does nothing other than provide them mana, obviously. Strangleroot Geezer. Huh. Guess I was supposed to fetch for a dwarf there. Time warp. Hey, I have no problems with people linking decks in chat, as long as it's reasonably reasonably, you know, a deck that something we're kind of looking at. So do I crack a clue trying to hit a... Teferi's not terrible, but it's also not great here. As long as I can read the deck fairly quickly and figure out what it's doing, yeah, I'm fine. Looks like they don't have Yogg. Okay. They could have Cord, though, I suppose. Oh, there's Yogg. So our opponent gets to sit there and play with themselves for a little while. One limiting factor for them is mana. Not in the best of small moments, so I think we have to risk savor the moment. Decent chance we're just dead, unfortunately. Yeah, plus our opponent can kill our first, at least the first target, so I'm kind of hoping our opponent gets a little too reckless with their life total and just dies here, but doesn't seem likely. Sure. Yeah, that's pretty damaging. Seems a little weird. Especially without a Wrenn and 6. Guess we keep it. Save of the moment, obviously, not the best in the world. Rest of the hand's fine, though. Hard Evidence, Cracker Clue, hope to hit a third land for either Prismari Command or for Alright, well, got 2 draw steps to try to hit a land. Wall of Roots. Well, I mean, it's kind of a land-ish. Mismatched Strangleroot, guys. Tisk tisk. Should I even play around anything here? So they can chord for 1. Is there anything in their list that I care about them chording for 1 for? Dread Arbor Birds, Ignoble. No, I don't think so. Well, we whiffed pretty badly. All right, are we dead? Good chance we're dead here. Chord for 2. Alright, we're dead to Zulaport nonsense. Nothing we can do about that. Alright, let me take a look at your list, Jan. It's not coming up for some reason. MTG Goldfish. Four. Oh, 9. Oh, okay. Eight, 3, 1. Hashtag paper. Interesting. Seems pretty reasonable. I don't know if that new card will fit into your list or not. Maybe as a sideboard card. You already have quite a few 3s in the list as is. Judge's Familiar, Deputy of Acquittals, Meddling Mage, Unsettled Mariner, Chrome. With your hand, you gain 3 life. Blastful Mimic, Reflector Mage, Thistledown Liege, Teferi, Prismatic Ending. And then Colonnade's a little sus, but I guess, you know, you need lands that can do things. Plus, you have the 3 copies of Glasspool Mimic, potentially, so. But back to the stream, so to speak. It's unfortunate losing to Yogg combo, but Yogg's always a very interesting deck to play against, I'll put it that way. It's just an interesting, difficult deck to play, and an interesting, difficult deck to play against. Yeah, Wesley, I haven't seen you link it yet, bud. Posted it above. Yeah, I don't see the link anywhere. Yeah, I haven't had... Honestly, one of the downsides of the new job is my consumption of streaming content has gone down considerably other than the weekends. So... And that only really leaves me like 2 or 3... Yeah, I understand what you mean, Jan. It only leaves me like 2 or 3. I only really watch like Spike, Doomwake, and I catch Hooglin on YouTube consistently. And then everybody else is just kind of hit or miss. I don't know about this one. I guess we keep it. Alright, and then lose our run in 6, I presume. Sure. Profane Tutor. I have no idea what's going on over there. I wonder if our opponent realizes that if we have a Teferi in play, that Profane Tutor is doing nothing. Maybe they have another Thoughtseize, who knows. Of course they do. Yep, they have to take the Teferi there, pretty much. Or else this Profane Tutor does nothing. Is this a smallpox? Feels like a smallpox. Oh, they're a graveyard deck of some kind. Okay. So I don't even know what we can do here, honestly. Feels like a... I should have shocked that in, I suppose. Someone's going to be able to reanimate their Archon. Alright, so... quite likely dead here. Probably pitching basic planes. Taking 5. Kaya, that's almost completely irrelevant. Alright, we're up against some type of reanimator nonsense. Flusterstorm seems like it could be okay against all their discard spells. Nahiri could be reasonable in some spots. Okay, is the internet locking up? Is that what's going on here? Sounds mulligan, unfortunately. This hand is also pretty bad. to Flusterstorm. Okay. Well, not only unfortunate mull, but also a... Yeah, they've also got Liliana to boot. So they're going to get to reanimate an Archon through everything anyway. Alright, we can't win from here. Kind of a rough start. So 427 6512. 427 65. Seems pretty reasonable. Especially if you're down on Lightning Helix in your current meta. Skullcrack's a pretty decent supplement for it. 20 lands with the 5. Yeah, seems like pretty reasonable overall. Numbers are certainly debatable, but you gotta do what works for you personally. Alright, let's try another match. Hey, no problem. I mean, you just basically made the changes you discussed the other night, or last night, I guess it was. I mean, that's the thing, is like, people want opinions of decks, and it's really, like, MTGO is one thing, like, adapting for that meta, you know, is a little bit different, but, like, adapting for a local meta is a little bit more difficult without playing in that meta, because, like, I literally took a... I think this hand's a mulligan. This hand's also a mulligan. This hand isn't terribly exciting, but I do think we keep it. Misty Rainforest, probably not the best for the home team. Murktide is, I've found to be a reasonable matchup for Burn. Hammer Time, even if you set up to beat it, you tend to lose to it a lot, so it's kind of eh. Oh, we're up against... Man, we are just getting dumpstered today, aren't we? So basically we're dealing with rhinos. 4-color rhinos? Or is this a Teferi? Sure. Still could be 4-color rhinos. Could be just 4-color nonsensical bullshit. Problem we have here is we can't combo with Velomachus. The heck are they playing here? Okay, so we're up against Scapshift. Got it. Opponent left up 1 mana. Can't really play around anything right now, so... They have it, they have it. I'm not playing around it right now. Yeah, I'm using Restream.io to try to stream both at the same time. Hey, Honest Rocks, thanks for the follow. Presuming that might be you, Wesley. So I could have tried to have gone for the combo there, but there's actually a very decent chance we're just dead to Bring to Light. Oh, you subbed. Thanks. I greatly appreciate that. Omnath's a little less scary, but still terrifying. You know, Bring to Light to boot. Okay. Show me Valakits. Yeah, I appreciate that. Alright, they've got more than enough to kill us here, so moving on. Okay, well, our Time Warp plan's somewhat useless. Might be boarding all that out. We're definitely boarding this stuff in. Flusterstorms. Mystical Disputes seem reasonable. Prismatic Ending can at least potentially answer Teferi. Bolts are just kind of useless. And maybe trim a hard evidence or two. Yeah, this deck has been very hit or miss for me. That's why I don't play it a ton, just because the draws like this are so incredibly frustrating. Can't keep this one either. Well, guess we keep and hope we hit a untap land next turn. Alright, well, I mean, at least we can play the hard evidence, right? Well, there's no better Time Warp effect that you can play if you're trying to play the 8 Time Warp effects. Because almost all the other Time Walks are more than 5 mana. Is the thing. Land? Huh. Well, yeah, we technically drew a land, I suppose. I was dumb. I can't cast Prismatic Ending anyway, so I just shocked myself for additional damage for no good reason. I was going to Prismatic Ending this to get them off of blue mana. Yeah, I was trying to ignore that particular thing. This is what I was trying to avoid here. Are we just dead? Alright, we're just dead. Wonderful. Wow, this leak has been terrible. This league has been terrible. Yep, nothing says your day's going great to losing to Hot Wet Camboy. It's like, okay. Clearly you just want to troll your opponent. Or that's how they want to go about earning their extra income outside of playing Magic the Gathering, perhaps. I do not know. I don't even want to imagine. That's just one of those things, you know. I'd like to play first. Man, this hand's terrible. We had a fetch land that would be defensible, but I just don't think we can keep this one. This one is not... This one's better-ish? Well, no... The problem wasn't the no blue, the problem was the no fetch, period. And you don't necessarily want your time warps in your hand. So that hand was like a double mulligan with a couple pieces of interaction and a kind of useless Renin 6. So this one's like okay. Put back the time warp. Oh, great. So we're up against Belcher, most likely? I guess we could get Blood Moon, so maybe I wasn't supposed to fetch there. Good chance we're dead on turn 2. Bolts at the least are completely useless. Flusterstorms seem okay. Mystical Disputes are debatable because they're kind of slow for a 3 mana. Wear Tear could be relevant. Maybe over Prismatic Endings. What's up, Space Marine? No land. Thanks for the follow, man. Giving the follow after the prime, kind of not usually how it works. Guess on 6 we have to keep this. Doesn't feel great. Oh, we're on 5, so yeah, we definitely have to... Alright, somehow if we survive this turn, we might have a chance. But I don't see us surviving this turn. So notably, our opponent also can't interrupt what we're doing. Alright, not the best of hits, but at least it's a hit, right? Alright, well, that's what our deck's supposed to do when it's doing its thing. This hand's terrible. Literally does nothing. We're hoping and praying for a fetch land. And that somehow we don't die on 2. Magic is so fun. Sure. Problem is we have no way to make tokens, so not sure any of this particularly matters. Okay. Okay, so probably dead here. Hmm. Alright, well. 0-4. Deck felt pretty bad today, honestly. I don't know if I have any specific thoughts or whatevers. I'd have to think about it for a bit, other than don't play this version of the deck right now. I don't know. Alright. Just want to thank you guys for hanging out this afternoon. All in the Rest Ricks, or aka on YouTube here, Wesley, Space Marine, Jan, everybody hanging out this afternoon. Wanted to get a stream in today and didn't know how the late evening was going to go, so I figured I'd try. We tried, we failed. So, but, you know, it's fun to give this deck a spin, but it didn't feel particularly good today. So, I think I'll be off this version for a little while. I've had a little bit more success with the Primeval Titan and the Grixis version of the deck last night. I think those decks are both a little bit more consistent as to what they're executing. I think this deck is just a little bit clunky and a little bit awkward sometimes, and today we definitely saw, you know, that come into play. So, I mean, the deck has a very high ceiling, but it also has a very high floor. You know, Savor the Moment's a terrible Magic card. You know, and if you're taking out Savor the Moment, then you're on like the 1 Velomachus, 1 Emrakul build, which I'm sure is fine, but you're less likely to just win the game on the spot. And at that point, why aren't you just playing, you know, a different variant of the deck? So, figured we'd give it a spin. A little bit rough, but thanks everybody for hanging out. This has been John for MTG Nexus. Hope to see you for the next stream. I'll try to do one during the week, but most likely we'll probably be streaming again probably next Saturday until I get a better feel on these schedules. So, this work schedule. So, thanks everybody for hanging out. Hope to see you for the next stream.